Today we are doing a Q&A and answering some recently asked questions about buying and selling real estate in/relocating to Salem, Oregon, or anywhere in the surrounding areas. But before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome. My name's Mariah.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are a top producing husband and wife real estate team here in Oregon. And we get calls, texts, and emails from people like you that are watching our videos and are thinking about relocating to our area all the time. So if that's you, feel free to reach out. We would love to help you buy or sell or relocate to Oregon. I will put our contact information below. The first question is, what is the rental market like in your area right now?
So good, because I actually have an out-of-state client. We just closed on their house. They have a bottom bedroom in this 3-story townhouse living situation that they want rented out. They ask me this because they're like, you're a realtor, you're familiar with the area. Well, the average rental by the house or rental by the room? What do you think we should talk about first?
Both.
Either
way.
A good one.
Rental by the room first.
So rental by the room is, honestly, do your cheat sheet. Go on Airbnb. Look up what a rental by the room looks like in that particular area you have invested in. Usually, I would say, by the room. I'm not a greedy guy, but if you could do an Airbnb and it's fully booked full time, that's all I care about. I'd say $45 to $75 a night. You're doing great.
For a private room, not a whole house.
Private room.
Got it.
Now, if you're renting out a room for a full month, I would suggest, and this has access to the whole house, but that is your living quarter, the bedroom. I would say probably you get one bedroom. I'd say $1,200 to $1,500. That's where I would keep that in, depending on the home, obviously. In their particular situation, I was just referring to out-of-state client, closed on this townhouse. It's a brand new unit, and they're going to be renting it out in between $1,200 to $1,500. Okay. Now, a full house, that really depends on what side of Salem you are on.
Let's say in a good neighborhood, let's just exclude any neighborhoods that are like, I don't know, the higher crime rating, that type of neighborhood. Let's just exclude those areas because they're like, there's
this is Salem.
Those areas, I know Salem
sauce.
is not a town I would consider unsafe by any means, but there is a certain side of town that is a higher crime rating, lower school rating, and you're going to find really cheap, I won't want to say really cheap, but much cheaper, more affordable rent than other areas of town. So let's just exclude that area.
So let's talk about apartments.
Yeah.
Apartments, you can find a 2-bed, 2-bath, usually around $1,700 to $1,900. Okay. Once you get into 3-bed, 2-bath, you're definitely over 2,000, well over 2,000 square feet. And this is an apartment complex.
Wait, 2,000 square feet or 2,000 a month?
2,000 a month.
Okay.
This is an apartment complex, so you're not going to have a garage. There's simple things that you don't have the luxury of having when you're renting from an apartment. But if you invest into a home, for instance, leasing out a full house, you are definitely going to be over $2,000 for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, these homes, if it's below $2,000, I would say it's an older home, needs some restoration, maybe not the best neighborhood. There's always a reason why price is reflected. But on average, 3-bed, 2-bath, going to be over $2,000. And I would say it'll start at about $2,200 for any 3-bed, 2-bath. I've seen them go all the way up to, I would say 1,800 to 2,600 square foot home. It could cost you around $2,800 to $3,200.
I would say $2,400 a month is pretty common for a 3-bed, 2-bath.
I would go the roundabout average number, $2,400.
In a good neighborhood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be somewhat accurate. But like we said, though, depending on the side of town you're wanting to live on and the location, obviously, prices do vary. You can rent out condos, you can rent out townhouses, you can do full homes, apartments. Yeah. It's really up to you, but definitely expect to pay over that $2,000 price mark. And that's why we always revert it to, even if you are paying $400 or $500, maybe even $600 more a month towards a mortgage, it could be worth it for you to look at home buying. And here's why. Think about the interest rate, the tax write-off at the end of the year. All that money you can get back and not be paying to Uncle Sam. And when you're renting, there is no write-off. There is no availability. So at the end of the day, save $7,500 within tax write-offs because you're a homeowner now. And so if you're working with a lender, make sure he's a good lender and he can explain that savings to you at the end of the year, because I don't think a lot of people think that way.
Right.
Honestly.
They don't understand the benefits. They probably just don't know.
Yeah.
about
And
the
so
benefits.
now I get it. If your debt to income or your job is uncertain or you just simply don't have the work history, it is what it is. We got to work on your employment. But if there is this little hairline fracture of, well, I could be owning, but I'm renting right now. Yeah, ownership looks to be a few $100 more a month, but it's 100% investment, guys.
Yeah.
That's what you got to think about
Your
rather than
future self.
100% throwing away. It's a really big topic, and I could talk all day on that. But think about this. This is a little bit of a carrot for you guys to walk away with. Think about the interest rate you could be saving at the end of the year. On average, you're going to have at least $7,500 in interest write-off with today's interest rates. That's pretty impressive, and that'll be on average a $400,000 plus home. And it's saving you money at the end of the year if you look at it in that way. Maybe not up front, but if long term, which is a real estate game, I always say if you want to be a good investor, be boring. That's a good way to be boring. Save that and be boring.
It's true. And if you are thinking about relocating to Oregon, thinking about making a move to Oregon, a lot of our clients are people who are moving here from out of state. Many of them have never been to Oregon and actually never do come to Oregon until after they close. So I would love to get a Zoom call set up with you and chat about the next steps and see how we can help moving forward. Also, if you are thinking about investing in Oregon, if you want to buy a property in Oregon as an investment, I do think we should add, talking about, the rental market here, Airbnb. We did Airbnb out of two different properties, one in Northeast Salem and one in Southeast Salem. Both were constantly being booked.
I'd say it thrived.
I was so surprised because obviously I've lived here my whole life, and so I know Salem, Oregon is no tourist area.
You wouldn't think.
It is not an area where people are coming here for vacations, but the amount of traveling linemen, travel nurses is a big one.
Class.
Yes,
Working people.
traveling
Everybody needs a
for their
house over
job.
their head.
But also because we do have, Willamette University, there were constantly people coming in to, visit their kids at Willamette University, graduations. We also have, Corbin, there's multiple colleges, and then all in the surrounding areas, there are colleges as well. Reasons like the Oktoberfest, I didn't know people traveled for that. I guess we have a great Oktoberfest here, but like so many different reasons that I would have never expected, I guess you could say, but it was constantly filled. And so Salem specifically is a great spot for Airbnb.
Start slow, get your reviews. Don't worry about that nightly cost at first. It's all about becoming the super host.
Become a super host, and then you can raise your prices. Yes. Okay. So, anyway, the next question is, when is the best time to list my home or my rental for sale? Whether you are somebody who is talking about, because a lot of our clients are in this situation, listing their home for sale or for rent in the state that they're living in and then moving to Oregon, or listing their home or rental for sale here in Oregon.
When's a good time?
When is the best time?
Okay, so this is funny because last week I think we touched on this. July's numbers are out versus listings, sales price, days on market, and then value drops. And usually July, August, September, those are our best months in real estate, traditionally speaking, when it comes to days on market or even numbers of homes listed that month. Well, we just saw a negative number compared to last year's figures, and we're down 20% at least in listing inventory, and sales prices they're going down a little bit because of the price reductions that we're seeing. It's so funny. I'm online. I do a lot of for sale by owner people, and I just see price reduction. Now, does that mean we're going to have a cold September, October, November month? Possibly, but ultimately what I'm saying is these months traditionally, July, August, September, are the months to get your home listed. But what I always revert to on the phone while talking to my clients that I'm looking or trying to get their home sold for them is, hey, my best months have been in these winter months.
That's true.
November, December, early January, February.
We've sold and bought ourselves in the middle of winter and had great experiences, and as real estate professionals would do that again. Yeah,
absolutely. And so that's why that question, it's never like fully bothered me, but it's also given me a reason to explain myself in more fullness. And it's because traditionally, if you look at it, Everybody says summertime's the time to sell. Summertime's the time to get my home listed and make the transition. Well, don't make that your 100% absolute.
Yeah.
Because what I can say is if we have your home listed in the winter or early springtime, for instance, you may be one of the very few homes that are on market in your surrounding area, meaning people are going to gravitate towards your home solely because you're the only one available. And if the market keeps going the way it is, there's going to be less and less homes available, meaning your home's going to remain the one that's prone to sell because let's face it, there are buyers out there.
Yeah.
There's buyers out there all the time, whether you're in a good market, bad market, an investing market, it doesn't matter. There are buyers because we deal with them out of state, in state.
Yeah.
There's people.
People are going to be house hunting year round. That's always how it has been for us. We work with clients year round. It's not like, December comes and nobody's looking at houses anymore. Like people do look for houses year round for various different reasons.
Yeah.
And another thing is you have to consider there are going to be pros and cons for any time you put your home on the market. So if you are waiting for spring or summer, then generally in a normal market, you'll see a little bit more competition. So there's going to be more homes. The buyers that are looking at your home are probably also looking at 10 other houses and have more other homes to, I guess, compete with your home and compare your home to. But at the same time, right now, we are at a record low on inventory. And it's been like this since I got into the real estate business in 2015. Yeah. I've always heard we're at a record low, but now we're at a new record low on inventory where it continues to be like just such few number of homes on the market. It's crazy. So because of that, there's not as much competition for you, but homes are still sitting a little bit longer. It's a very strange market. And if you want advice on the market or what to expect, or you want to just talk about it, have questions, like we would love to chat with you about that. But
absolutely.
Anyway, okay.
It's interesting.
So the best time to answer that question is the best time to list your home is when it works for you and when it makes sense for you. I 100% believe that. As a real estate agent who has sold many homes throughout the years, I would still list my personal home any time of the year as long as it made sense for me and it worked for me. I wouldn't go off of spring or summer. I would not do that personally.
Same.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. When interest rates go down, will it turn the market in favor of buyers?
Imagine this.
I don't want to know what would happen, honestly.
I just imagine all these little fish. I'm like in fifth grade at this point. We managed fish guppies. So we hatched them and then we released them into the wild. This was a science project in the 5th grade. But all these fish, they're really relying on food, right, to live. So remember this? You put a little fish food in the bowl. Well, they all come up and start eating in a feeding frenzy. I just imagine buyers being the little fish at this point once the interest rates go down. And, I don't think they're going to go down dramatically. I really think this is going to remain for at least 7 to 8 months. That's my prediction. And this is a normal thing we're going to just have to deal with, get okay with, because it is an election year. We're not drowning. Employment's looking good. Leave it be. Don't change it, right?
Right. No, keep going. You're telling your story. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
So that is my opinion with interest rates. But when they do go down, it's going to be that feeding frenzy I just tried to draw a picture of.
Yeah.
With you guys, the buyers, being the fish, and the sellers being the little twinklers. And it's really a thing because there's going to probably be multiple offers. There's going to be appraisals waived. There's going to be inspections. And guess what? Sales prices are still going to remain high or the sub-new normal.
Yeah.
And that is dangerous, but ultimately going to be okay if you're one of those selected home buyers getting an offer accepted because you have just now invited yourself into home ownership. And we've touched on it briefly. You want to be a homeowner because rent, it's going to remain the same or only go up. They're trying to take away your availability to own something. And this could be a good opportunity right now in today's market before interest rates drop completely.
Yeah.
I really believe this.
I do too. And I honestly, when interest rates drop, things will get more competitive. Like Spencer said, the fishies will be swimming up for the food. Mm-hmm. Things will get more competitive, which drives home prices up. Personally, I hope they don't drop at least a lot because I don't want the average home price in Salem, Oregon to become $1 million. It's insane and it's already unaffordable. And I just don't. Yeah. I just don't see them being that, the 3%, that's not a normal interest rate. It's record low. So that's what will happen.
I remember that.
And if interest
that was in
rates drop.
Unprecedented times through an era that Americans were all at home And they were just trying to fluctuate this real estate market to keep it running, keep it going.
I don't know if they knew this is what's going to happen.
Well, there had to have been a long-term plan here. And that's why, I don't see there just being a complete decline in interest rates for at least another 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9 more months. I'd love to be in the sixes.
But even then, when we say decline, we mean by maybe like a point or two.
Yeah.
We do not mean back to 3s and even 4s. I don't think.
I think it's going to float around the 6s and 5s, and people are going to be okay with it. And that's a great interest rate in the end of things.
Yeah. All right. Do realtors charge for staging your home when selling?
Great question. And no, the only way I charge, because I pay for that'll be out of my pocket. The home, I find and select a professional stager if that's what we agree upon and do as a marketing strategy. But what I will ask and do is usually get a little bit more commission out of the sale. So, I need to cover my costs with staging because that is upfront money. And remember, you only pay me at the end of the day if the home sells. So if, say, this home doesn't sell, 3, 4, 5 months later, I'm stuck with this $7,000 staging bill I never get back. So it's on me to perform to get the home sold, of course, but I need and want that bill fronted at closing out of the commission total sale.
Yeah. Okay. Lastly, what advice do you have for someone who wants to relocate to Oregon and buy a house?
Well, that's a really great question, because if it's me, I'm trying to put myself in a buyer's perspective. Call somebody. Just get on the phone right now. Stay in your state. Don't get on a plane. Call somebody. Have about 5, 6, 7 answers or questions to get answers from, and then move along to YouTube. Maybe you found us through YouTube doing this. Get advice and realistic answers of maybe an area or what the great state of Oregon looks like for you. Is it doable? And then you're going to really want your listing agent or buyer's agent sending you properties online, and that's absolutely free. So you can have an expectation of what these homes and areas cost if you were to buy in that area. Yeah. And then the final step I would say is find a home online you like, have it pre-approved with your lender, make the flight over. If not, make sure your buyer's agent is good with HD video footage and can send you a link that same day as a traditional home tour, just with them doing it for you. Yeah, that's good. All right, my advice would be, 1, shoot us an email and we will get a time to chat with you either over Zoom or on the phone set up and talk about the next steps, get your questions answered about the area and what area or side of town might be best for you, all of the things. And then 2, head over to our channel. We have a handful of playlists where we share information that you want to know all about living in Oregon, Salem, Oregon, and the surrounding areas, or just moving to / relocating to Oregon. Absolutely. So, that's awesome. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you guys next week.